throwaway account because some of my friends, family know my real one. The lottery winning took place back in August 2014. Mike and I were married in October 2014. It wasn't a fortune, but enough to make a difference. After taxes it came out to right around $480,000. Most people would be over the moon, but I panicked. I didn't want our life to turn upside down because we had extra money now. I was still legally single at the time, and so I was able to accept it anonymously without the need to tell anyone else. So I didn't tell anyone else. Not a single soul. Not my husband, my parents, siblings, best friends, etc. Only the state and federal governments. My husband has a tendency to spend on things we don't need and that aren't going to benefit us in the long run, so I didn't want our money to blow quickly on stupid stuff like cars and clothes. I opened a new bank account with a national credit union and put the check in. Got started with a financial advisor, Keith, who guided me into investing in local businesses and real estate. And that's that. It's been sitting there since, just growing. Flash forward to today. I'm doing dishes, getting ready to start making dinner, and my phone rings. I can't get to it but figure I'll call them back. Then I get a text. No big deal. I'll get to it in a minute. But husband came into the kitchen and glanced at my phone to let me know who texted me and called me, which he always does if my hands are full. It's Keith. He called and texted me to let me know my account just hit $1 million after one of the energy companies I invested in soared recently. My husband is stunned. Has no clue what to even say, staring at me until he says we have $1 million. I was so flushed but finally just sat him down and explained the situation. He's clearly mad at me for never telling him. Asks if my family knows, and I tell him that no one knows except the IRS and Keith. It took him a few hours to finally be able to really talk to me. At the end of the silence he told me he's proud of me for investing into our future, but he needs a few days to clear his head because he feels like I hid a huge part of myself from him. We might just need to take a vacation now. TL, Dr. I won a lottery in 2014 and never told my husband until he learned that I grew the money to $1 million today. Edit, I already have people messaging me asking if they can have money. Jesus. This is why I didn't tell anyone. Update. My husband and I just spoke on the phone for about an hour. He told me he's staying with his best friend, co-worker tonight, but that he's not angry. He agreed he would have spent the money on dumb things if he'd won it and is happy that I put it away. Little less happy that I didn't tell him about it for so long, but he said he doesn't care and doesn't want this getting in the way of our marriage. Update. Hello. Jesus, I didn't know this would blow up so much. I've been at work and talking to my husband Mike all day, basically laying down some ground rules for the money moving forward. He will not tell anyone, didn't tell his friend, and we will only dip in for emergencies and pre-discussed things. A few people asked in the comments how much we make a year, I guess to see where we'd be without this money. I currently make around $60K and Mike makes more at around $85K. So to all the ones saying I starved him or made him scrounge, that is not true, lol. We make a good amount. I have no clue how to post all of the screenshots of the clowns in my inbox, but I'll try to put something in the comments. 22F, I work at a hotel bar in a large city. I worked a particularly slow day and during those shifts I like to talk to the guests. One of them was a 22-year-old teacher who was traveling by herself and a guest of the hotel. I get cut early and I decide to go out for a couple drinks. At a bar nearby, I see the guest. She is very clearly drunk and proceeds to throw up all over the bar. Now this part of town is kinda known for sleazy guys and she's by herself, so I take her back to the hotel and get her in her room safe before anyone can take advantage of her. I leave her my number to text me when she's awake to make sure she's okay, and she thanks me the next morning and explains she was blackout drunk and barely remembers any of the night. I thought that was the end of it, until my boss pulled me into a room and proceeded to fire me for fraternizing with a guest. I explained that I only got her to her room safe and was worried because she was young and alone, but nope. I'm officially unemployed now. For helping a drunk girl get back to her hotel. Okay. TL, doctor, got fired for helping a drunk girl get back to her hotel room. Okay. Edit, for those asking for more information, I did take her in the closest entrance, which was the employee entrance. I think this has a lot more to do with it. My boss is not a rapist and didn't slip her anything. And while I'm thinking of naming them, I don't want to get at risk of going up against a large company. I'm a broke 22-year-old, and I am a girl, for all y'all who thought I was a man, who was living paycheck to paycheck. I can't afford a lawyer. I did file for unemployment. I appreciate everyone's well wishes. TW, I actually had a very bad episode as a result of this and attempted. I'm in the hospital now and will not have any way to update further for a while. Edit 2, thank you everyone, sincerely, for all the well wishes. I'm back from the hospital and am staying with family until I'm a little more stable. I appreciate everyone's kind words and support. I'm unsure if anyone will see this since it's been some time, but I thought I'd update. After much consideration, I've decided to name the hotel Viceroy Chicago. Whether or not you decide to stay there is entirely up to you. There are some wonderful people working there, but it seems they place liability above the mental or physical safety of their guests and employees. This is a passage from the email HR sent me. In regards to your employment status with Viceroy Chicago, entering a hotel room with a guest is in violation of Viceroy policy. Colleagues are not allowed to stay at the property in which they work, and unauthorized entrance, access to any Viceroy space, facility, offices, guest rooms or computer information sources is conduct that Viceroy considers inappropriate and leads to disciplinary action, up to and including termination of employment, which due to the severity of this infraction, we will terminate employment at this point. So there you go. Do with this information whatever you wish. I understand their decision from a liability standpoint personally, but not from a moral or ethical standpoint. While I'm in the hospital I realized it was best I got out of there now anyway. I wish you all the best. So I was feeling playful and I thought a fun thing to do would be to wake him up with a bit of a stroke and a kiss down there. He lays on his side, so the easiest thing to do was to give him a gentle stroke. He started stiffening but didn't really stir. He loves me licking his balls, so I tried to give them a lick. It wasn't easy without him helping to maneuver into the right position. I lifted his leg a bit and got a good angle. He started to stir and shift. So I sat back until he settled more on his front but still on his side. I was clearly in quite a determined mood and I tried to get to his balls from behind through his raised leg. As I was trying to get in there again, he let out a massive fart. Just instantly stinky, inches from my nose. I saw it before I felt it and I felt it before I smelt it, but there was nothing I could do to save myself. So gross. Wouldn't recommend. He's not even that windy. It was bad luck. Of course he woke up hard and wanted to get going. Reader, there was no way for him to get me back in the mood that morning. TL, Doctor, I tried to wake my husband up by licking his balls, but he farted on my face. So me and my parents are polar opposite when it come to politics, and at this point, basic value. We had argued for quite some time on the CCP and human rights problem before, around 2019 with the movement/protest/riot in HK, depending on your POV, and they are on full support for the CCP. That ended by no one shall bring up the topic ever again. Today, I forgot my parents' political views and talked about the Ukraine situation, you know, because it is the most serious thing happening and the whole situation is so fucked up. Both my parents' responses on that is that they are on full support for Putin, and that Zelensky did wrong by siding with the US and pissing off Russia and he deserved it and more. Talking to them feels like Facebook conspiracy post IRL, and I am both disappointed at my parents' take on stuff like this and at myself for not keeping my mouth shut in this kind of setting. Edit, we are Chinese living in Hong Kong. TL, Doctor, I brought up the Ukraine situation and both my parents turn into Facebook conspiracy theorists and full Putin supporters mode.